Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the foundation of warranty, the origins, and how it can be a great product differentiator and a reassurance for a challenger brand or even a differentiator for an existing brand.
Let's jump into it.
With 30 years' experience in auto logistics and state-of-the-art locations in 5 major Australian cities, Precar Fleet Services are a premier all-in-one solutions provider for commercial vehicle fleet operators, leasing companies and original equipment manufacturers. Please visit precar.com.au and click on the link to Fleet Services.
Mark, to start things off, can you tell us what is warranty and how it works, just the basic principles of it?
Good question, John. Warranties are something that we take for granted, but it's the reason why you buy a new car, that you expect not to have a problem with the vehicle. Used cars, you always factor in you're going to have an issue and you're going to have a certain maintenance cost. So with a new car, the biggest cost of a new car is depreciation. The main cost of a used car, you get depreciation, but not so much. But the main cost with a used car is repairs, mechanical repairs and other maintenance that you have to do as the vehicle gets older. Things wear out, so therefore you have to spend money on it. So what you do, you buy a new car so that you don't have problems. And new cars come with a warranty. Now, when you think of the history of warranty, if we go back in this country, warranties were 12 months, 20,000 kilometres. And that's not that long ago. We're sort of just going back around 30 years ago. And that was 1220 was a long-standing warranty. Then warranties, there was a bit of groundbreaking where it went to 2 years, 50,000 kilometres, which was, wow, that's doubling the warranty from 12 months, 20. And back in the old days, once you got over 20,000 Ks or out of your 12 months, you were on your own. So if you had a mechanical failure, you were up for the cost of repairing that. And so the people would bring their cars back to dealerships for service for the first 12 months and then disappear and go get their vehicle serviced elsewhere in the aftermarket because it was deemed to be cheaper to service that way and you weren't going to get a warranty, so it didn't matter. So as the warranties extended, so the 2 years, 50, and then there was the extension for powertrain because you had your bumper-to-bumper warranty, but then there were basically 2 warranties on the one vehicle. You had warranties on the cut of bumper-to-bumper, and then you had the powertrain where it would be 3 years, 100,000, because you expect your engine, transmission and differential and all associated driveline components not to wear out. So that's where warranties got extended to 3 years, 100 for the powertrain. And then ultimately it became 3 years bumper to bumper warranty. And that was seen to be the standard warranty for a long period of time. So then you had some challenger brands that came out in this market in particular, where reassurance is a question about, okay, here's a new brand, it's come into the country, usually from the Asian region. How do you differentiate your brand with reassurance? So if you're an unknown brand, what do you actually, how can you give reassurance to someone as to, okay, I've got lots of the features, but am I going to break down and leave you stranded? So the way that the manufacturers overcome that is by giving extended warranties. And that's where we first saw the stretch into the 5-year warranties. And that was done by a lot of the Korean brands, jumped onto that early, went to the 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, which was a big differentiator when everybody else was 3 years, 100,000. So 5 years unlimited kilometre warranty was, wow, this is incredible. But it's an interesting statistic. Warranty's a numbers game. It's basically, it's like an actuary who looks at insurance. So you look at the risk of what is the repair cost or what's the likelihood of failures. And manufacturers do a great job of analysing warranty to the nth degree. So all OEMs have some amazing people that work in the warranty departments, and they assess everything. Warranty job has a code, a labour operation number, and they can track what failures occur by state, by model, and look for outliers. If there's something that's a high frequency issue, they can go back through engineering and say, hey, we've got a problem in this area. Or if it's a particular dealer that's overusing warranty, they can say, hang on, this dealer's doing too much warranty. Let's audit them and see what's going on. So these are the beauties. This is the beauty of the warranty systems. And it's why systems are so important with warranty. But warranty is very much about reassurance. It's very much about product improvement, because that data, and we all know that manufacturers love to speak with data, that data tells a story if there are issues. And it will show up with VIN numbers, it will show up in models, etc. So you can quickly see if there are issues that need to be addressed from an engineering and product perspective. So warranty is a really good thing in so many ways, because it's ultimately a continuous improvement tool for the manufacturer. It's a reassurance tool for the customer and also for the sales department, but it's also a reassurance item for the dealer. They don't make a lot of money out of warranty because usually the warranty labour rates are lower than, say, the retail rates. However, it means it gives the customers a reason to come back for service, which is more profitable, but also in keeping a conversation with that customer for when they want to replace their vehicle. So that's why warranties are very important. And recall's always great for that too. So warranty and recall sort of tie in hand. So warranty is a big thing. So when you look at the extensions of warranty, the car companies have to provision for it. So they work out, okay, if the car's going to cost, say, $50,000, we need to allow, and let's pick a number, say $1,500 per car for warranty issues. Or it might be less, it might be $300 a car, but it'll depend on what the history is with that particular model and also the cost per item that repaired. Like say if you have an engine issue through a particular model, you need to provision money for engine failures. Those engine failures are maybe $40,000 if it's a diesel engine, something like that. So you'll be up for some serious money. So you need to provision that. And that has to come into the sale price of the vehicle and the cost of the vehicle before it's sold. So the deal, like the car company has to provision it. The dealer doesn't have to provision it. It's the car company that provisions it. But then if the failures aren't there, then that car company will end up sitting on a large pile of money. So at some point, that money has to be brought back into revenue, because it's been sitting there. Or what the car company can do is say, right, we're at 5 years warranty, our failure rates are quite low, we look at the data, okay, let's give 7 years warranty. So they extend out to 7 years, they can then redeploy that provision into another pile, which goes out to the 7 years. And then potentially provision less for future models if they see the future sales, because they see that warranty cost is actually coming down. So the more efficient, the more reliable your vehicle is, that warranty provision comes down. Flips the other way, you start to have a few failures, you need to start provisioning. Because if you're not provisioning, then you're going to be upside down very quickly. And that can be a big problem for the car company, the OEM, because then you've got to move price up, or sometimes you've got to actually make a decision and withdraw that product, because if it's not profitable and your warranty provision is too high or the warranty cost is too high, then the question will be asked, well, why are we bringing that particular model in, given its cost, it's not matching the market's expectation. So there's lots happening with that warranty space. And once again, it goes from an engineering and product tool, but it is very much a marketing tool and sales tool from a reassurance perspective.
Mark, can you maybe explain the length of time and the mileage? Because the average customer will only do maybe 15 or 18,000 kilometers a year. So even though it looks like, okay, well, we've got a 7-year warranty, it's the manufacturer also measures that and says, well, on average, most people would not have done more than 100,000 or 120,000 in that period. And they work back that way. So it gives not something false for the customer, but it does give a perception that you're getting more than what you're getting.
It's a very good point, actually, John, because when we look at the average kilometres travel per vehicle, in the main, it's 15,000 kilometres a year, which is why when you look at the servicing now, it used to bring a car in twice a year for service. Now it's 12 months, 15,000, or even 12 months, 20. So 15 to 20 is the average. If you look at the bell-shaped curve of kilometres versus time, majority of vehicles fall within that 15,000 Ks per year. There are always the outliers that will do 30 or 40 or 50,000 kilometres a year. They're usually high mileage fleet or courier type vehicles, so they'll be higher. But there will be a lot of vehicles that maybe do 5,000 or 6,000 kilometres a year, not even. If they're in metropolitan, just running around town, etc., and doing short runs, it's very hard to get 10,000 kilometres out of a car doing that, or even potentially 6 or 7. I've had the situation, even in my personal world here, where I've had one car that's done 20,000 Ks a year, but the other car's struggling to do 3. So, this is where you get that dichotomy of what's the average between all that? Probably 15,000 between two cars. So you start to look at it from that perspective, that you're going to have those outliers. They're going to cost you a bit more in warranty, but you're also going to have the other outliers on the other end of the bell-shaped curve that are going to cost you nothing, because those vehicles aren't working at all. And by the time they get to their 5 years, they may have 20,000 kilometres on them, or even 25,000 kilometres on them. So those cars, there's not much really going to go wrong. It shouldn't go wrong in that time frame. They're the manufacturer warranties. Then there are other things which are the statutory warranties, and this is where the ACL comes in, the Australian, as far as consumer law comes into play. So there's an expectation that a good is fit for purpose for a private buyer. So if an engine fails after 6 years, is that deemed to be a fit for purpose situation? And often there is some form of recourse as long as the vehicle's been maintained. And this is an important point. The vehicles need to be maintained. There's warranty and then there's service and maintenance. Service and maintenance is not warranty. So items such as brakes, often consumables like wiper rubbers, brake pads, clutches, these and batteries are consumables. So those items aren't warranted for wear and tear. So those items wear and tear, they need to be replaced as a service item. Just like oil and filters, they're not warranty. A filter is warranty if it leaks after it's installed. That's a different story. But if it needs to be replaced just because it's done its job and it's filtered and it's starting to get blocked, well, therefore it's replaced as a service item. So as long as the vehicle's maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's schedule, that warranty should still apply. Once upon a time, there was a perception that you had to maintain your vehicle at a franchise deal in order to protect and maintain warranty. That is not the case. As long as you can show that the appropriate oils and lubricants and fluids and filters and also service work has been done by appropriately qualified technicians, the warranty is still applicable to that vehicle. So this is why warranty is important. The easiest way is keep taking your vehicle back to the dealer, but dealers can't or manufacturers can't say your car wasn't serviced within our network, therefore you're not covered by warranty. That doesn't hold up now with the Australian the ACL as far as consumer law is concerned.
Now, Mark, it might be worth also just mentioning that there are sometimes exceptions to warranty, and you need to be aware of those. So it's always worth running your eyes across what your warranty is for your particular car. Because just to mention one exception is if you drive a sports car and you go onto a racetrack and do a couple of laps around a racetrack, you might not think you're going as fast or you're not racing with it. But some warranties say if you have been on a racetrack, you then have to have the car serviced afterwards within a certain time period or mileage. And if you don't, your warranty becomes null and void. So it's quite worthwhile to keep in mind some of these warranties and what it means for your particular car.
Oh, absolutely. And racetrack's a good one because often that warranties won't apply to any issues that's occurred at the racetrack because you've put the vehicle through a competitive environment. The warranties are mainly for use on standard roads. So if you enter a vehicle into a competitive event, then you need to look at your conditions of the warranty, absolutely, because you may not, in most cases, you won't be qualified for any incident that occurs at that race meeting.
And Mark, do you know much about warranties around batteries for electric vehicles? We're starting to see electric vehicles come into Australia now. Do you know if what sort of warranties apply to batteries on electric vehicles?
Well, that's a very good question, John, because because standard batteries, if you go back to ICE vehicles, a standard battery warranty is normally 12 months. And after that, you're on your own, or there's conjecture over who's going to cover it, because it's normally spelled out quite clearly that battery is not going to be around for the 5-year life of the vehicle. So that's what's an important one. You've got to look at it, your specific manufacturer and the manufacturer's stance on batteries. Now, batteries have been a huge block, I suppose, for adoption with EVs from the very start, where there's been a lot of panic around, oh my God, this battery's going to fail, it's going to cost me a fortune, or cost me almost as much as the car to replace it. So therefore the car, early EVs were depreciated quite heavily on the back of the perception that the battery is going to be a significant cost and will need to be replaced after 5 to 7 years. So what we're seeing is there are better warranties now applied to the vehicle because basically the battery is the powertrain. You've got your electric motor and you've got a battery that feeds it. So the EV is a different setup to an ICE vehicle, and that's where the warranties and peace of mind around those batteries is a significant tool just as we were saying before about what extended warranties did for ICE cars, battery warranties are the peace of mind factor for differentiating your product versus another with warranties.
Because I see some EV manufacturers are giving an expected life of the battery. So they might say they expect the life of the battery to be 8 years or 10 years on particular EVs. So it's worth probably looking at some of that before you do purchase a car, or you go to look to purchase a used vehicle. Because if the used vehicle is 5-6 years old and the expected life of the battery is only 8 or 10 years, you then at least need to keep in mind how long that battery will last before you need to replace it.
Absolutely, and that's where it's looking at what that manufacturer. But if you're the OEM, this is where you've got the opportunity to really differentiate. And as battery technology continues to improve significantly as each year passes, this is where the battery issue is reducing, whereas it initially was a huge issue and a huge obstacle in EV take-up, because it was seen, it was okay, once the battery is used, it's gone, then the shell of the car is fine, the shell doesn't wear out, but the car would depreciate. Whereas now we're not seeing that. The EVs are holding their value significantly well.
But I also see in Europe, there's some of the EVs, especially the very old EVs, they might not have the distance left in the battery, so you can only maybe do, say, 80 kilometers. People are still buying up those cars because they use it as a second vehicle to drive to the shops or to pick up the kids. And so it's a low-cost vehicle. So that EV is still holding up its value, even though it can't do the distance it originally could have done. So that's quite interesting to me, how that's sort of playing out in the market. I never thought of something like that.
And it's a good point, the whole warranty thing from a reassurance perspective. It's gone from something that was seen as a mandatory that you had to, and there's a statutory warranty that you have to apply, but then you can then take that warranty to the next step and differentiate your product and help build the brand, or build a brand around extended warranties, and also take away a reason why a customer won't buy your product. Is just that reassurance of the warranties. And this is where the warranty then comes hand in hand with two other elements that sort of work well with warranty. So it's basically the trifecta. So the cornerstone's extended warranty, so say a 5-year warranty or a 7-year warranty or a 10-year warranty. The next piece that fits really well with it, and you see a lot of brands doing it, is that they match a roadside service offering to the warranty. And the roadside service offering ties back to service. So you then have a cap price service program that ties in with the duration of the warranty. So you say you've got a 5-year warranty, you have 5-year cap price servicing, and you have 5 years roadside service. So as long as you bring your car back to the franchise dealer for servicing, your roadside service, if you have a problem, gets extended. So not only if you have an issue and you break down on the side of the road, you actually have someone call out and help you. So it really works on that peace of mind process and ties everything back to the dealer. It's a very clever peace of mind tool, tying all those elements together with the roadside service, the cap price service, so you bring your people back in, so it's a revenue generator for the dealers, and it ties in with the warranty, so the customer feels that all three are there to make sure that they've got a great motoring experience. So the cap price, roadside service, and warranty working really well together. The element here is that of where EVs are interesting is that there's less service involved in EVs. So the dealers really enjoy the cap price service programs and the roadside service, because that just tops up the system for them. And the best brand that did this and was a real innovator and did it exceptionally well was Toyota. So Toyota had just do everything well. So they've really tied that side of it around, and then you can tie it into other things like guaranteed future value, because you know your car's been serviced, you know it's got a good warranty. The warranty teams are assessing if there's any product issues, which if it's a Toyota, there's very few. And you know the car's being maintained, so therefore that car has a great resale value, and therefore you end up having a great guaranteed future value on that vehicle. But that's another topic for another day. We can talk a bit more about guaranteed future values. But this is the Tetris game, if you like, of all the pieces fitting together perfectly to create the perfect brand and the perfect business and the perfect peace of mind program.
Yeah, Mark, I think you make such a good point because those parts are so crucial to the success of a brand. The upfront marketing and advertising is just one small element of it. It's all what happens in that back end to make sure the brand's a success. And I think that can apply across all products, whether it's vehicles or construction equipment or whatever. I think the same principle can apply.
Absolutely. And this is where the important part is. And we talked about what used to be, if you go back to the old days, warranty was the after-sales team. Salespeople didn't want to know about warranty. That's not my job. That's messy. It's technical. It's annoying. That's an after-sales area. Sales was sales. Warranty was warranty. And service was service. Even service and warranty were split because the service guys wanted to promote sales of spark plugs and oil filters and all these sorts of things. Whereas the warranty guys, they cost money. So it was all about get the warranty cost down. Don't put that through as warranty. Don't accept that as warranty. And yet, if you go hard on warranty rejection, it means your ownership experience is bad. Therefore, your sales reputation is not there. Your resale values drop. And then you have to pay more to market at the front end. So it's really a balancing act. If you really do good after sales service and warranty, you don't need to spend as much on marketing in the long run. You still need to build your brand, and your brand might be, okay, let's give more warranty because I know the back-end guys in my business are doing a great job. The engineers are making sure a product is good. The warranty people are tracking and making sure the warranty experience of the customers are having it good, that the dealers are trained and know how to fix the vehicles if there is an issue, and they communicate really well with them. So the customer ultimately has the great experience. The key in all of this is that the customer is in the middle of all of those elements. And that's where good brands get it right and do it well.
Because I think that's so important, Mark, because that point of we've been in automotive for a long time, so we know there will be issues with cars from time to time because they're made up of components that can fail. And so warranty is such an important part of it. And it's when it does happen is how do you deal with that vehicle that's off-road and how do you get that customer back on track as quick as possible with the least inconvenience and at a fair and reasonable cost that he understands that is fair and reasonable too. So it's a fascinating topic. So it's probably something we never want to talk about, but it's probably the most interesting topic to talk about.
And once again, just like we talked about the unsung heroes in the car companies that are the people that do the supply chain and the forecasting, and those poor guys get such a hard time because everyone says, why can't you forecast better? The other ones that do such an exceptional job are the people that process and administer the warranty, but also the techs that actually execute the warranty repairs, the poor old service advisors in the dealerships that cop it from the customers, about I've got this is wrong with my car, and the proactive nature of what those people do, they actually sell a lot more cars in the long run for the brand and the dealerships than what a lot of the sales guys will do. Because it's through their good hard work and appeasing of a customer who's made an investment and may not have had a good experience with that product, they can turn them around and they create advocates out there. And it can go the other way. If they get it wrong, you can get people that do horrific, they make horrific social media posts and destroy brands in the long run because the warranty hasn't been necessarily supported in the appropriate way. But yeah, it's a credit to the people that do it. So it's a real balancing act to get it right. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed our discussion around warranty and the bigger picture of what's actually involved in it.
Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, and we'll speak to you again next week.
Thank you for listening.